What effect will Brexit have on the country when the UK finally leaves the European Union? Sally Tomlinson is the co-author of a new book. It's called Britannia, Brexit and the End of Empire. Welcome to you indeed. And what you're doing in this book is you're seeing Brexit in a much longer historical context, the kind of Britain to a certain extent reverting to a kind of pre-Second World War view of the world. Would that be fair?
Well, you can't understand the present or the future unless you understand the past. So what we tried to do in this book is go back to the high point of empire, and then look at what happened, particularly over the 20th century into the 21st century, and then try and explain why Brexit. What we think that Brexit, in a sense, is an inevitable outcome. It's a kind of the last gasp of empire, because until the Second World War, there was an empire. Also, in the 1930s, there was the biggest gap between the rich and the poor that there ever has been until now. So we've got another link there. After the Second World War, our colonies disappeared, and even though people came over to work and help reconstruct Britain, and were, as you know, not treated very well, the colonies couldn't give the money and so on that we'd been used to as an empire. So Britain actually got poorer, and the rich got poorer, and they didn't like this. And so we ended up with a lot of austerity, and of course that made divisions in the country worse.
So what you think that this is the rich and powerful trying to go back to a previous system?
Certainly, we've now got great inequity in the country, and I think that helped fuel a lot of anger, and I think it's still there. So you can look at the country in the future, whatever happens with Brexit, and we're not in the book putting forward any particular position. We're just saying whatever happens, in, out, hard, soft, none, the country is actually going to be diminished in many ways. But there is a future if we accept that we're not going to be great anymore. We're going to be normal, like other European countries. We're going to hopefully be less jingoistic, because our education system has not been great in explaining to us what went on, or what is going to go on in the future. We've got to look at our education system, but we've also got to bring all, if you like, all people together much more. And it's only when we do that that we're actually going to have a future, a good future, a normal future, but not the Great Britain that we have been told we're going to be.
I mean, there's an article in the New York Times today, an opinion piece by Pankaj Mishra, which is attracting some attention. Yes. The headline is "The Malign Incompetence of the British Ruling Class." With Brexit, the chumocrats who drew borders from India to Ireland are getting a taste of their own medicine. Would you agree with that?
Well, Ireland is very interesting, because if you look at internal colonialism, Ireland was the first country colonised by England in 1169, and so it's very ironic that it's Ireland that's actually causing divisions and trouble now, isn't it? In a sense, he's right. They are getting their back.
Would you lay a charge of incompetence at the door of people like David Cameron, Boris Johnson?
I think we actually do in the book. We tried to be kind, but they are very rich. Cameron's cabinet, half of them were multimillionaires. Cameron has gone off with a great deal of money, and they, in a sense, I think it's right that they don't really understand how ordinary people live. And so we've got to heal these divisions somehow.
OK, well, Sally Tomlinson, your book, written with Danny Dorling, is called Rule Britannia, Brexit and the End of Empire. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, a lot of passion today on this issue, and much more to come in All Out Politics in the next hour.